All right, guys. Today's recap. Apple craziness was a the trade of the day for me. It was a really good trading day, and especially on Apple, through both setting the calls and also through actually trading the shares directly. So let's show you exactly how the Apple did. So obviously, there's no position for me sitting on JP and see what the JP is doing. So Apple had the famous event yesterday, and it was during the day. It was very volatile during the day. So when broke the all-time high, went to all the way up to 185 exactly, which is the high of the all-time high, and then sold off after the event. It's just a very typical buy the news, sell the rumor type of activity, like people buying all the way to the event, and then through the event, after the event, started selling off. And as you see, these big drops that happened during the event. So they introduced this virtual reality, and but it's still very strong. Still trades near the all-time high. So what happened here was that the pre-market was gapping up, gapped down and gapped up. Didn't do really anything in the pre-market craziness, and then suddenly at the open, a huge sell-off happened. So very bearish candlestick here on heavy volume, 2 million shares volume, very big candlestick, lost the VWAP, and then came down, bounced back, and then that was a really nice entry for me, potential for a very big short. So I shorted about 179 all the way down to 178. So there was a lot of big bids down here at the 179 that were showing us this potential. Let me actually show you that. Here all the way down to 177 actually. So let me bring it here. So as you see here at 178, there was a huge beat here. So these are all signs. So that's a screenshot that I took when I took the short here. Again, at 178.20, so the bids were stacking down. So that's a very bearish sign, obviously, when the stock market is when the price is going down, the bids are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that was a very nice short, and that's one of the reasons that I actually held it all the way up to 178, was seeing all the way these bids are stacking down. And as you see here, all the way up to 177 as well. I don't think it did hit the 177, but it bounced back. And then at the VWAP, I actually added more to that. So at the VWAP, I added short. My average came just above the VWAP. So that was a really good add. Came down and I continued covering all the way down to the low of the day, I think. I think all the way to the low of the day we covered. It never really hit the 177. The low of the day turned out to be 177.43. But seeing those beads was a sign that really the stock is going down, and they came back up above the VWAP, and I got stopped out at 178.50. So that was the thing. Now it's coming back up all the way to the previous day close. And at the all-time high yesterday, what I did on yesterday was actually, let me see if I can find the chart on that and bring the chart here. Oh yeah, perfectly. So let me bring the chart here. So yesterday, what I did, I shorted the Apple at all-time high calls at 185. So here, right around here, Apple at around all-time high. So I kind of knew that it's losing the VWAP. So I shorted 185 calls. And then all the way down from $3 came today, and obviously because the calls are for today, all the way down. So I covered them today in two step here and here. So my average was about $1, and then all the way down to one. This guy's probably going to go worthless, these calls. So that's another way of trading the stock in the same direction, is by shorting puts or calls, or buying calls and puts. In this case, if you would have buy puts, we were going up, and if it was shorting calls, you would have gone down. So the same trade was on NVDA. So let me show you the NVDA here trade that we had on NVDA as well. So on NVDA, I noticed that NVDA is coming back above the VWAP at the open. So I saw that it's holding the VWAP around here at 389, but I kind of just found it very choppy. I really didn't like the price action. It was really choppy. I really didn't want to buy for the red to green. What I did is I found the 372 calls. 372 puts, and I shorted those ones because I thought that if it's going to go up, the puts are going to become worthless. So the value of the puts are going to go up. So you can actually short the puts. So I did that. So I had some room here, so for the choppiness, and it did got into the choppiness, and eventually, when it popped up, and I started really covering my position, and made a little bit of a money by shorting the puts. So what if buying the call is that, instead of shorting puts, you can also buy the calls, but the difference here is that if you buy the call and you get into the choppiness, this time decay is going to be in your disadvantage, because the value of your call is slowly going down if the price doesn't do anything. But if you short the puts, the time decay is actually in your favor. So in this case, so what you see here is AMD was very strong at the open. AMD was really the trade. Now it's up 5%. So because AMD was very strong, that's why I thought that maybe I missed the move on AMD. So that's what maybe I thought that better to trade the NVIDIA through the shorting the puts. And as you see here, AMD actually did a very nice kind of a 920 trade as well. So very, very, very strong. Would have been, I'm sure Peter would have been a very nice day. So overall, it turned out to be a very nice day. Sorry, yesterday I missed the trading at the open. But overall, it turned out to be this market craziness is back, and now SPY is going back up. AMD up 5%. I think it's going to be in play. IWM is the strongest sector. So the small caps and regional banks are very, very strong, up 3%. And Adley has had an idea of the selling puts on KRE. KRE, which is the ETF for regional banks, is just going up. It was really getting destroyed after March because of this regional bank crisis. Then, but what we'll see here is that it's doing a bounce back now. It's going through the 44 and maybe doing a breakout. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I just want to remind you, for New York City, guys, we have secured 3 guests for New York City meetup. Really going to be amazing presentation. So if you guys are watching and you're in this area, come. I think it's going to be one of the best events that we're going to be having in New York City. And we have a couple of more surprises for the community as well. Potentially, we're going to have some really, really nice surprises for some of our members. So looking forward to see you guys, and all the best, and I'll see you guys in the chat room tomorrow. And tonight is Carlos is giving the presentation.